That tractor makes a lot of oil pressure when it's cold. Part of that's because I'm using heavy oil, but part of that is just kind of how those tractors are. When it warms up, the oil pressure will drop to about 20 or a little below, which I am told for an 8N is still pretty good. You guys want down? I'm here at the hay barn this morning because I've got to throw a round bale in the back of the truck and run it up to the steers up at the steer pasture. A lot of people ask me how far away everything is, and I feel like I've mentioned it here and there, but the steer pasture is by far the furthest place that we have to go. It is probably around 20 miles, I would say. It takes a little over 30 minutes to get there. It's a bit early to be feeding anybody here at the ranch. I usually feed these guys midday or early afternoon. So we're gonna make them wait a little bit, even though whenever they see me show up, they seem to think that it's time to eat. Doesn't look like you guys need to be fed today. I think you got enough. When I get back from the steer pasture, the plan is to run back over to the house and get as far as I can with getting the electric net and all the chickens moved over to their new area, because while it is Christmas Eve today and I'm trying not to work all day long, I do need to get that done because tomorrow's Christmas. I probably won't get any work done tomorrow. And then the day after that, I plan to move the cattle up to the winter pasture. And the day after that, it's supposed to rain. And I want to get everybody moved before that rain hits because they'll have a lot better shelter where they're going. We got a lot to do today, so we better get to it. That's what's going on today on Farmer Tyler Ranch. This is the first time I'm trying to load the bale like this. Usually I've got it sideways so that I load it from the side and unload it from the side. But the last time I was up there, I just started thinking, like, man, it would be so much easier if I could just unload the bale from the back, because usually I'm unloading this bale on a single lane driveway, so there's not a lot of room to get up on the side of the truck to unload it. I feel like this is also better because I don't really have to tie the bale down. Obviously, it can't roll out from side to side, and it's not gonna roll front to back either. It's really trapped in here pretty good like this, so I don't know why I haven't been doing it this way all along. Will the tailgate close? Oh, look at that. Oh, good girl, Belly, you did it. We're just pulling in here to the steer pasture, and I don't see the steers, but I assume that they are somewhere this way, because this first pasture, as you drive in, you can pretty well see the whole thing from the road, and I didn't see them out here. That matters because this is where their feeder is, and I have found it to be much easier to just lock them out of the field where the feeder is while I'm setting the bale up, and then once the bale's in the feeder, net wraps off, all that, then I open the gate and let them have at it. I'm always checking on the grass and seeing what things are doing, and as I had hoped, there is still some grass out here. It's getting short, but it's not like there's nothing for them. It's important to keep an eye on this because it tells me if I'm bringing them enough hay or if I need to step them up a little bit. Of course, the other way to tell, but is a much less accurate gauge, is how excited they are to see me pull in here with a new bale. They definitely see me, but they're not running over here yet. The landowners over here at the steer pasture are nice enough to let me use their little Kubota tractor to feed this bale with, which is awesome of them, because if they didn't do that, then I would either have to trailer a tractor with a spear over here to feed the bale, or I would probably just end up having to buy these guys small bales to get them through the winter, and I don't want to have to do that. So this works out really good. guys figured out there's something going on here, didn't you? That ought to make them happy. We'll see if they're waiting for us up there at the gate. I just can't believe that they weren't up here waiting for me, but I guess that's a good sign. Tells me they're not too hungry. They're not too hungry, or they just haven't figured this out yet. What are you guys waiting for? The bale's in the feeder. Well, they are feeling awfully sociable, and I'm sure once I leave, they'll walk down and start eating that hay, so that's what I'm gonna do. We're back home now, and I need to start moving some birds around. So I've been thinking about the most efficient way to do this. And I think what I'll do is put the turkeys here in this little pig pen. This will actually be a bit of an upgrade from where they're at, because they'll have a nice house here, and the shop is gonna block all of the south wind and any rain that comes. These turkeys are ready to be harvested like right now. Like a while ago, I should have done it. So that is on the schedule to get done, and actually having them here will be pretty convenient because this is a good place to set up to do that. Because these turkeys are so big, I suspect that they will be fairly easy to catch, but kind of hard to carry. He's a big boy. Got a runner. Okay, he can stay in there for a minute. Well, we got 2 out of 3 so far. And this last one, obviously you saw, got in here with the chickens, which is not a big deal. But I would still like to catch it, put it back with the other ones just to keep them all together. So we'll see how it goes. Well, that was easy. How come you just didn't do that the first time? Might take them a few minutes, but I imagine they'll settle in there just fine. I know there's a right and a wrong way to do this, and I feel like I did it more the wrong way. So let's run it over to where it's gonna go and see how bad I tangled it up. Take the time. Uh-oh, camera's in it now. Whoops. Here, come on this side. I'm guessing I'll fine tune this once it's all up. This is all looking good. There's plenty of room out here, and you know, the way the net kind of worked out, it's gonna fit pretty much how I expected. There's one problem though, two problems if you think about it, and that is that because these poles on the shelter are cemented into the ground, I cannot get this electronet right up to the structure itself. So what that does is it leaves a big gap here. Chickens could fit through that, but predators could fit through it as well. It might take them a while to find it, but I think eventually they would. So I need to figure out a way to block this gap off without grounding the fence out, and in such a way that a predator wouldn't be able to defeat it. And I'm gonna have to think about that for a minute. I think probably what I'll end up doing, I've got a round post, it must be an 8-footer. So if I just cut that in half, set it on top of the ground, and like tie it to the metal post, that should fill this gap, and then I can sink the fiberglass post right next to it. I might have to put some plastic or something on it to make sure it doesn't ground, but I don't think the hot wire's not going to ground out on wood, not nearly as bad as it would on metal. So unfortunately, I'm running out of time to get this done today. As I've mentioned before, today is Christmas Eve, and I got to get cleaned up to get to a dinner. So I don't think I'm going to get the chickens moved today. So I think that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.